right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kacie Armstrong. I'm the director here at the Euclid Public Library. And today I am joined by Patricia Brown and Ashley Gowens. And we are going to be talking about Ancestry.com and the 1950 census, which was released last night at midnight. Patricia and Ashley have graciously agreed to join me today so we can track the Brown family and the US Census and talk about what we can learn from some of the prior census records, as well as the most recent census record, the 1950 census. So we're going to get started, and we're going to be going back and forth between this PowerPoint slide and the Ancestry Database. So just to center us a little bit, Ancestry.com is one of Euclid Public Library's most popular databases. So we encourage you to come into the library to use this free resource to search your family records. You can access census records, birth certificates, marriage certificates, death certificates, and other records. Today we are going to focus on the Brown family, which has a few strands. Of course, the Brown, we're using the name Brown because that's Patricia's name, her last name, her maiden name, but we'll talk about some other names in her family history. We'll talk about some pedigree charts and how to keep things in order. We'll talk about the importance of pictures and Bibles and other helpful family records. And we're just going to learn more about the Brown family and their place in the American story. So before we get a little started, I just we got to talk a little bit about the census so everyone will know where we are. So our primary focus today is we're going to be focused on the 1930, 1940, and 1950 records. But just to give you guys a little bit of history here, in 1840 and prior to 1840, the only folks who were tracked on the census were white men. 1850 and 1860, you can see slave schedules if you are descended from enslaved people. In 1870, that's when every American was counted. Now, I should say American, everyone who was on our soil on April 1st, 1970 got counted. So men, women, children, minorities, everyone was counted in the 1870 census. Again, in the 1880 census and the 1890 census. The problem with the 1890 census is that unfortunately, due to a fire in 1921, almost all of the 1890 records were destroyed. So a lot of times people will hit a wall right here at 1890, and they hit that wall because it's difficult to track back from 1900 to 1890 without having that list of names to continue your research. So there are some interesting ways that you can get around that. And we will see an example of that today as we talk to Patricia, because her family was able to bypass the 1890 wall. But the 1900 census is kind of where we first start seeing the Brown name. Well, we see it in 1890 when her grandfather was born, and we'll see it again in 1900 and 1910. 1920, he would have been 27 years old, but we're going to focus today on 1930, 40, and 50, but we'll still be talking a little bit about the other records too. All right, so Patricia, I'm going to be quiet for a moment, and I want you to tell us about the Brown family here. You should see my screen with you on the screen and your sister, so tell us about your family.
Okay. The pictures that you see starting left up, my older sister, Yvonne, and my mom and dad, that was their first live birth. And then I came along later, Mary Ellen. What I'd like to share about that is that our family migrated north when I was an infant. So a lot of what I know is oral history. So piecing it together here has been very surprising and very thoughtful. On the right side, I'm sorry, where Tom Brown is there with my grandmother, Florence, that's my dad's family.
That's your paternal side.
That's the paternal side. I never got a chance to meet my grandfather. He was deceased by the time I came along. But I do remember my grandma, Florence. We called her Mama Brown.
Okay.
Yeah. So a
And
more updated picture here, the Underwoods, my grandmother. I grew up probably summers with her. I remember gardens we had with her, and just really bringing us, because they had just come from Alabama. So their time was to kind of bridge what they did in the South and then make it a little urban. They
okay,
actually lived in the Huff area back in the
so
50s.
so
That's
just to be clear, so Tom was deceased and he never moved to Ohio.
right. And Florence stayed in Alabama as well.
And then William came to Ohio.
Yes, with his wife, Emma. Right. And my mother was really instrumental in them coming here, because a lot of families, and they still are, they're very close. And to have multiple generations in a home is how they lived. And so we never had babysitters. We never had to worry about who's going to take care of them. And so my grandparents moving here was a big help to my mom and us. I didn't realize it at the time, but when I look in retrospect, that's how we did it. She brought her daughters. Three of them, I think, finished school in Cleveland. Two of them were married. One was in Alabama. The other one went to Arkansas.
Okay.
She brought her only son with them. So three daughters and a son is who she had there. So yeah, it was interesting.
So we're gonna take a pause here, and we're gonna look at the 1930 census record, but I just want to get everybody just a little bit of information. So the 1930 census was the 15th census ever in the US. This was the time between the passage of this census was held at the start of the Great Depression. So the stock market crash, and they were doing the census. They wanted this information very quickly. It kind of reminds me of now, actually, when we were taking the census in 2020. Everybody wanted the information as quickly as they could get it. And the same reasons, because of unemployment and what was going on with the economy. And so I'm gonna pause for a moment. We're gonna come back to the screen, but we're gonna take a quick look. Ashley, is my screen changing?
Yes, you pulled out of the PowerPoint slide.
Okay, so
We can't see the ancestry yet.
Okay, so let me stop sharing and then reshare.
There you
Okay,
go.
so let's see Mary Ellen for a second. Let me get everybody centered. We're gonna start with Patricia. I'll bring her. Is it changing, Ashley?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay, so Patricia, here you are. Born on March 14th, 1950 to
Yes.
Frank and Mary Ellen. And so we're gonna start, let's start with the paternal line. We're gonna take a look at Mary Ellen. Here's Mary Ellen. She was born in 1929 in Sheffield, Colbert. There is a little dispute because some records have her being born on February 2nd, but her granddaughter, Ashley, has shared that you guys celebrated her birthday, and she acknowledged her birthday as February 6th.
No, flip it. The record said the 6th, but we celebrate her birthday.
We celebrate on the 2nd. The record said the 6th. That's right. There was a confusion because when we got her passport and she had to use her birth certificate, and back then they were just like little scrappy piece of paper. The date that's when we realized that they had a different date for her.
So she appears, so we're gonna go ahead and pull up the actual 1930 census and take a look. Can you see the census, Ashley?
Yes.
Okay. So at the top of the census, we see she was in Colbert County, in Spring Valley. She is living with her dad, William Underwood.
Yes.
And her mom, and we believe they have her mom's name misspelled, but as everybody remembers, people used to physically come to your house and you see the crazy handwriting. So they didn't always, names and information isn't always as correct as we would like it to be. But here is Mary.
Yes.
Here's Mary Ellen, your mother. She is listed as she lives on a farm. She is listed as a female. She is listed as Negro. You see here, she is listed as age 0. So she was a baby.
Okay.
She was single.
Single birth.
She had not attended school yet. She was born in Alabama. Her parents are born in Alabama. You see right here where it's yellow. Her mom and dad are listed as being born in Alabama, and they confirm that up here up top. And then you can see that they really didn't put whether or not she can speak English because she was a baby, but they listed your grandparents as speaking English. And they listed that she did not have a job. Grandfather, of course, he had a job, and he is listed as a general farmer. And then we go back to his record. He is listed as being 21, and she is your grandmother as 22 years old. So is your mother the oldest?
Yes, she is.
Okay, so this is good. This is good. So the oral history is lining up with the facts.
Okay.
And that's what we want to see. We want to make sure that like it's not some kind of odd situation happening where the stories just don't match at all. So that's her in 1930. So 10 years later, let's take a look at her again. We're gonna go to 1940 census. See what she's doing in 1940. A lot has changed in your family in 1940.
Wow. Yes, they've grown.
So let's see. They're still in Colbert,
Uh-huh.
in Sheffield. So let's take a look. So they are living on 10 Avenue, 1903, 10 Avenue. So this is great to know. So as we search records and we want to verify, one of the tools that we can use is to check the address.
Right. I remember that one. They talked about it all the time.
Did they?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they left there, so that would be what they would remember.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is your mom, Mary Ellen. She is now 10 years old.
Yeah, and her sister Wilhelmina, right under her.
Wilhelmina, she's 8.
Yeah.
And your mom is single, and she's in school. Is a first grader.
Wow.
So she is telling us again that she is from Alabama and specifically born in Tuscumba County, Tuscumba in Colbert County. So that was a new piece of information that we were learning.
Tuscumbia, yes, yes. I remember that she was born there, but for some reason we were born in Sheffield.
Well, and we looked it up. We can take a look at the map. They are very close. So it's
Right, the Tri-Cities.
Yeah, so it's almost like being born between Cleveland or East Cleveland or Cleveland and Shaker, Cleveland, and
Yes.
so close. So let's see what your grandfather was doing.
Yeah. He's still a farmer, or is he in the service now?
Oh, we do. We'll get to that.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so he is now 31. They do give us some new information that the highest grade that your grandfather completed was the 6th grade.
Okay.
And the highest grade that your grandmother completed, Emma, was the 4th grade.
Yep, I've heard that.
So we go on a little bit. They are still, we check the address and we go back. So now this is the news that's really interesting for your grandfather. He is listed as a laborer for a company called TVA.
And the company is still there, TVA.
Thank you for saying that. What's fascinating is they listed.
It is.
He made $400 in 1940.
Oh, wow.
What, a month?
The whole year.
Oh. I was having a hard time with a month. You said a whole year.
But let's think about the time. So we're coming out of the Depression, right?
Right.
And part of the reason that they started TVA was because of the Depression, and they wanted to put people back to work.
Tennessee Valley Authority. Yeah, it's still going.
Valley Authority. So they wanted to put people back to work. And one of the ways I'm going to bring up, so I can show the company.
It is.
So the company is still there.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, because I know companies do various things, but this might be another key resource for you guys if TVA keeps any historical documents on the company, on their employees.
Mhm.
You can see more records about William. But it's amazing that a company that was started because of the Depression was part of the reason that your family was able to get that $400 that you laugh about. But that $400, think about it, how little people were making.
Right, and they were farmers too, so, you know, they probably were living pretty well.
Yeah. So he had a side hustle.
He had a lot of, he was a plumber too.
So that, let me bring back up the,
Boy, that's interesting. That took me back. Wow.
yeah,
For being a little girl.
did you ever see it growing up? Did you drive past the company?
You know, when we would go down for vacation, yes, we would see it. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think when I was there, our last reunion was in Alabama and we passed it. Yeah, that's why I knew, when I saw TV, I said, oh yeah, that's still going on. Yeah.
But you see, you got a whole slew of new family members.
Yeah. And all these zeros mean that they're not in school. Is that what that means?
In school. Your
My
mom.
uncle hasn't been born yet.
Yeah, so you can see
The 6 girls.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep.
Yeah.
So how many
6.
total children did Emma and William have?
6, I think, with the son, but he's not on there yet.
Not on there yet. So he will be, hopefully we can find him in the 1950s.
Yeah. See, Carrie, that's Lisa's mom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is your
Okay.
paternal side. So
Wow.
switch over. We're gonna take a look at that was your maternal side. Now we're gonna look at your dad.
Okay.
So your dad was born in Tuscumbia. So it was kind of like a whole family affair.
Yes.
Your folks were all from the same area, which makes it a lot easier when you're searching your records.
Okay.
And you can see immediately, so he was born and then he had a brother born immediately after him.
Charles, yes.
Yeah.
He went to Chicago. Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and look at the census records for him to see what his family was doing. So we'll start in 1930. And his records are split between 2 pages.
Okay.
Because, you know, they would just go to the end of the page and then they would flip over and start anew. But
Okay, there's, yeah.
I'll backtrack a little bit so you can see where's the bottom of the page. So it's not highlighted on this page because he's not on this page.
Okay.
But Tom Brown is your grandfather, right?
Yes.
This is where the record starts. So sometimes I just mention that so people might have to go back or forward a page to see the whole family. But we're gonna come back up here so we can see your dad. So here is Edward. And now it's interesting because your mom was the oldest. Where did your dad fall in his sibling line?
Towards the end, I think he was next to the last son. There's one more after him and his name is Walter.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we see.
So he was towards the end.
Okay. So in 1930, he is 1. A little bit over 1. He's listed as male Negro, not in school, having been born in Alabama with his mother and father in Alabama. And of course, there's no occupation listed for him. So that's your dad. And these are a couple of his siblings who are older.
Yeah, I see their names.
Ida and Charles. And then we're going to backtrack so we can see Tom. Did the page change?
Yeah.
You guys see Tom? Okay.
Yeah.
So now here is Tom. So Tom Brown, and they live on West 2nd Street.
Okay.
Now we get a little bit of information here that is really cool to see because Tom owned his home.
Okay.
His home was valued at $700.
Wow.
That's good. That's good.
It is. What did he do? Was he a farmer?
Look at you. You racing. We racing. We gotta go through the list. We gotta go through the list. He was not a farmer, as you can see. It says no. He was not a farmer.
Okay. Retail.
Married, and he had gotten married. This is a new piece of information that we can use to confirm too. In the 1930 census, they wanted you to know he got married at 25. Your grandmother was 18. Your
Okay.
grandmother.
That sounds right.
So he did not attend school, and neither did Florence, but they could both read and write.
Can you imagine that? Too busy working to go to school.
Yeah.
And that you do all of your life.
Yeah.
So how was she able? They trained her, is what they did. Train them in what they needed to know.
Yeah. So here's Tom. He is listed as a laborer at a railroad shop. And where's his amount? Oh, I thought his amount was on there. They didn't list his salary. Oh, it's probably on the 1947 census, but they list the salary. But your grandmother is listed as having no job. Her job was to be at home with the children.
That's a big job.
It is. And she had a lot.
She did.
Oldest was 19,
Mhm.
and the youngest was your dad at 1 year old.
Yeah. And she's gonna have one more.
Woo.
Walter. She could have really stopped at Ed.
So that's your dad. So now we're going to look at the 1940 record. See what they're doing tonight to see how life has changed. So here they are. They're all on one page this time. They are still living on West 2nd Street 10 years later.
There's 3 more in the house.
So look,
Tom
Tom, these are
Oh, the grandchildren.
grandchildren. Yeah.
Because there's Walter.
There's Walter. And then do you know Thomas Edward and Robert?
Yes. Those are cousins.
Okay.
And William Henry is a cousin too. They have him down as a son. Oh, wow. So
he should be listed as a grandson. You're thinking?
that's what I'm thinking. But if he was a son, how old was he? Did he die?
He was a young man. He's 8 years old.
Oh, that's Uncle. Okay, that's Chicago.
His
That's
uncle?
Chicago. Bill.
Okay.
No. That.
Well, I was telling Ashley,
That's Uncle Bill.
really
He's
like
here.
the names repeat a lot, so it gets confusing. So it's really
Okay, so I'm looking at Edward. That's my dad. So William is his brother that came here, and Walter is his brother. Okay, so that's good. I'm not sure who this Thomas Edward is and Robert James.
Yes, she did.
I thought those as sons. I thought those were
No,
grandsons.
grand.
Oh, grand. Okay, it's right. It's
Those
right.
are grandsons.
They're
This is
right.
Tom's grandsons.
Okay, they're grandsons.
This
Okay,
would
great.
have been your father's nephews.
Right.
Yes.
Correct. That's fine. That's accurate as it is.
Okay.
How many kids did you count there? Let's see.
Woo, so let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 children.
Okay, that's right.
That's about right.
That's about right. Oh.
So Edward is now around 11 years old. Remember, the ages aren't going to be exactly accurate.
Okay.
He is in school.
As 4th grade looks like.
4th grade. Yep. Information, and this is a unique piece of information because it says here that they are in the same house as they were in 1935.
Yes.
So we know that they've been in this house since 1930, at least.
Yeah.
And before that, but at least the same house.
This is amazing. It really takes me back.
So your grandfather, now let's look a little bit more at him. He is working and your grandmother is not.
Mhm. She's working in the home.
Yes, yes, yes. I should not say that because that is what this H means right here.
Yes.
This H means that she is doing homework. Mhm. Your grandfather was working 48 hours a week, and he is listed as an ash pit laborer, and he continued to work for the railroad.
Okay. Yeah, that was a big thing there.
Mhm. Then he made $960 as compared to William.
Yeah. But he had 3 more kids than William. Wow.
So that is the 19. We're going to go back a little bit because I want to talk about this. You mentioned the war, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the registration card for your dad.
Wow.
So he is listed as his mailing. He was, I don't know why he had his place of residence was 704 West 2nd Street. So we again confirming that information that this is your dad.
Yeah.
He is listing his address, his date of birth, your grandmother's name, Florence,
Mm-hmm.
who was his mother, and he was still in high school.
Yes. Trenton, yeah. Trent Holmes, yeah.
Yeah, so he was still in high school.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now he uses the Frank Brown.
Yes,
Yes.
and he uses Frank.
Yeah.
So that's pretty.
Wow.
And then we want to look at one more record, which I think is really, really, really nice to see because a lot of us don't get to see our parents' marriage records.
No, we don't.
So this is your parents' marriage records.
Okay.
So Frank Edward Brown married
Uh-huh.
Mary Ellen Underwood. He was living on West 2nd Street, where she
Yeah.
was on East 20th Street. So that's matching up in the census records.
Mm-hmm.
They're both listed as colored. He's 21, she's 18, their dates of birth, where they live. Your dad mentioned he was a porter,
Right.
your mom, none.
Mm-hmm.
And then they confirmed their parents' names for us. So we know without a doubt that Tom
You got the
Brown,
right one. Emma Denbell.
William, and Emma. And this is great because Emma lists her maiden name. So there's no doubt about what Mary Ellen lists her mom's maiden name.
Yeah.
It was the first marriage for both of them. And they thankfully let us know that they were not cousins. Is there any relationship?
That happened a lot back then.
Yeah, that was nice.
They definitely were not related.
And one of the things that I was laughing with Ashley about is that they actually had to go through an examination to verify that they were free from all venereal disease.
They did a blood test? I guess.
Yeah, so they took a test to verify, more specifically, your father. So I guess this was something that the men had to do and
Wow.
to prove that he was safe. I love it. I think it's wonderful.
It is.
And then here at the bottom, we see the formalized record that they were married on
Okay.
in 1947.
Oh, wow. December, wait, were they married on the 22nd?
According to this, December 22nd.
Oh. We got something else to celebrate. Thank
So
you.
we love to see when the marriage, the census records, and the family oral tradition all line up. And that's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah, it is.
So as we start to go back a little bit more, because the further you go back, the more complicated it starts to become.
Mhm.
We'll take a look at, so we looked at Frank and Mary Ellen, Tom and William, but we want to take a moment to look at Emma. Where's Emma? Let me go back to Emma. And there's your sister, by the way. She's
Yes.
son,
Uh-huh.
her husband.
Her husband, uh-huh.
And there's your mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are on your maternal line looking at Emma.
Okay.
And what we want to try to do is look to see if we can figure out Emma's mom and dad.
Mine are on fire.
Yeah, so we're gonna look. So I believe, according to oral tradition, her dad's name is Tommy. So we're just gonna take a quick look to see if we see Emma here in the 1940 census. There's Emma. Where did you go, Emma? Okay, I done lost Emma's record. Oh, this is the record.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Right at it, right in my face. So this is the record when we were talking about what about the earlier census? Like, how do we get further back? And this is the record that I think is going to help us to get there. Because we clearly see that this very much, Emma Dent at 2
Mhm.
years old, Black, could very much be your grandmother.
Right.
However, the confusing part is that the dad is listed as a Charles, as opposed to what the oral tradition says should be Tommy. So as you see,
Correct.
names kept going back and forth and all over.
Yeah, they don't use the same name. Yeah. I remember Charles being that, yes.
Yeah, so
What about a Cedric or?
so that's a little bit further back. This is we're still on your maternal mother's line. We're getting ready
Okay.
to the Underwood side is where the
Rick's Underwood, yeah.
So we're gonna go there in a moment. So I just wanted to show
This
you
is
this.
dense. Wow.
I think this is a solid lead for your family
Mhm.
to really take you back to the 1880 census if we can verify Emma's father's name.
Mhm.
In case you said that this was important because this was kind of breaking that wall.
Yeah, the 1890 wall. So if we can figure out if there's records, any Bible records that you guys may have, because
I think we'll do that. We'll look on that because they did have a family Bible that was very old and very treasured. So we'll find that. And
I think this might be her. And if this is her, you guys have just opened a whole new slew of records for your family. They just are very exciting because it's still in the same region. And that's why, again, because it looked like Emma stayed in the Alabama area for quite some time. She eventually came up to Ohio, but her family stayed.
stayed, that's right.
So we want to really do a little bit more digging and not let that record
So
go.
was she here in the 50s?
Yeah, we're getting ready to get to the 50s record.
Okay, all right.
A little bit about how we need your help to get some additional facts so that we can confirm that that's Emma as a 2-year-old. Okay. That's amazing. So we don't want to lose that.
No.
And we're going to take a look at William real fast because this is the Underwood side of your family leads to the Ricks side. Ethel Ricks was his mother.
That was her maiden name.
Okay. We're going to add that real fast. And do you know about what she was born in Alabama?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to put Alabama because we don't know the exact county. Do you know where she passed away at?
Alabama.
Okay. Any memory of death or birth date or year?
I'm thinking her birthday's in March, but I don't know because I always remember we celebrated ours kind of close together.
Okay. So his mom was Ethel. And his dad was, who was William's dad?
I'm thinking it might have been Cedric or some variation of that name.
Okay, but I'm sorry, I want to confirm, was Rick's
Ethel's.
maiden's name, was Rick's her maiden name?
Rick's was her maiden name. Underwood was her husband's name.
Okay, so we're gonna just put this as unknown, the first name as unknown for right now. And we are believing that he was also born and died in Alabama. And all this can be changed.
Okay.
Because we want to
Any
verify.
days you need it, yeah.
Yeah, we want to verify. But these are records that can take us back again to the 1800s. Because from what I understand, tell me about the family cemetery, the Rick's family cemetery.
Okay, that's a pretty large plot that's in, I believe it's in Tuscumbia, because there's a church there also, a family church. And during that time, there she is, Ethel Ricks.
Is this your?
Oh, that's my grandmother. That's my great grandmother. Oh, bless her heart. Look, I told you, March 12th, I knew we celebrated it close. Oh my gosh.
Awesome. Okay, so we're gonna add her to the tree.
Oh, I loved her. I still do, but I mean, I can't believe it.
So that's good. So this is, that looks like that was her, oh here, because you said there was a Shedrick. So this.
Yeah. What's his name? Her husband. I never met him. He was
Shedrick.
okay. I just remember because my cousin named one of her children after him. That's how I remembered it. Oh my gosh. And they remembered the great grandfather. I don't. I never did. Oh my gosh.
There's Ethel and her husband Shedrick.
Yes.
And so let's take a quick look at them to see. So this is the 1920 census.
Yeah.
1920 census. They are 31 and 39. Shedrick is a farmer.
Yeah, they were farmers.
Yeah. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children.
Okay. Which is I make up on the street.
William looks like he's the second kid. William, who was your grandfather?
Yes.
Okay, so we want to accept this record because that's definitely your family.
Yes, she is. I always said I wanted to be a grandmother like her.
Aww.
She had so many grandchildren, great. We went to her funeral and we all sat on the bench saying the same thing. Grandma loved me best. She had a way of making you think you were the only person that was there.
Well, thank you so much for, I'm sorry, I don't want to, I'm glad that we're getting to reminisce. I don't want to make you sad, but
I shouldn't have put on so much eye makeup because I'm going to streak in a minute. But yes, do I remember her dearly. And my grandmother Emma too. Don't think I don't remember her, but
yeah, absolutely.
But just to see my great grandmother, oh my gosh.
So it looks like we've been.
I didn't think we were going to find her.
So now we're looking at the 1900 census record, and here's Ethel again. And what we're learning about Ethel is that she is living with her mother, Mary. So that's where that name keeps coming down.
Yeah.
Your family line. So
you got a Percy there too, I see.
Her mother was Mary. Your mother was Mary.
Uh-huh.
But what we've learned new today is that Ethel's father was named Grant.
Grant Ricks.
Grant Ricks.
Yes.
And so he is listed as the head of the household, and they give us their dates of birth.
Mm-hmm.
So they were 28 and 25 years old. They had been married for 13 years by 1900. And they had 6 children. So we will go ahead and accept this record as a part of your tree. That's a 1900 record.
Wow.
So let's see, one more record, because I think this, if we can see it, oh, they won't let us see it, dang it. I was hoping we could see the Alabama record, the marriage record.
Okay, probably not. They didn't.
Yeah. So that is your, let's take a look at let's look at the whole tree one more time. I'm just loving this picture of Ethel.
Mhm.
It's really nice to see.
Very stylish lady. Now you know where it comes from.
But I will be interested because somebody only took the first page. So that means somebody in your family has this entire obituary.
They do.
And there is more information about your family on the inside of this obituary.
Oh, yeah. I think I can figure out who that is. Tuscumbia. Okay.
Yeah, so we got to get that obituary because if she can confirm additional data about who she left to mourn her, she
Mhm.
might again confirm her parents' names as Grant and Mary.
Yeah.
So we want to get those to be able to really shore up the family tree here. But let's go back here. So let's
Now, her father was actually a slave, you know.
and that's what we're trying to get to.
Yeah, he became a free man, and that's where he got the land.
Okay.
He actually worked to pay for the land, and that's where the burial plot and all that comes together. It's quite a bit of land there.
So we're gonna, I want to change something because now that we know Ethel's husband's name, I want to go back and make sure we add the correct name. His name was Shedrick.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that might be a unique name too, as you start to go back.
Yeah.
Because like Mary, Frank, those are so common.
Mhm.
That when you see unique names like that's really great because it says, okay,
Yeah.
I can look for that unique name. So we're gonna change his name. We're gonna make him, well, it says Shedrick.
Yeah, he's got a name now.
And then we can go back because remember the 1900s.
Oh, they might have a picture of him.
No, it don't have a picture, but it gave us his birthday.
Okay. That's right. He was
Yeah.
he was gone
So
before.
cameras was back then. We had to look up. I'm not sure how perfect it was.
They may not have anything of him, but yeah, there he is.
But he was born in, when we look at the 1920 census, this is the record where he's mentioned his date of birth.
Hmm.
So he was 39 years old. Oh no, that's the 1900 record that I should have been looking for. That's so he's 39 years old. So we just take that back. So he was 29 in 1910 and so forth. I can't do the mental math, guys. I'm sorry.
So 18
89.
try 1889.
No,
No.
I didn't do that right.
No, I didn't either.
My quick math wasn't good either. Hold on.
1881.
1881.
Okay.
So we're just gonna put that in his little, we don't know for certain, but it's the closest that we can come at this point. So we're just gonna put about 1881 that he was. That's pretty cool.
It's very cool.
All right, now, because we don't talk about every census, but the census that we supposed to be here to talk about. You were just 1950 census. But I want you to see your tree real fast. Here you and Patricia are, and your parents, your Grandma Emma and Grandpa William, and then that goes back to Ethel and Shedrick.
Right.
So look how far back we've gotten.
Wow.
Your maternal and paternal line. We look at Mary. So now we're going to look at the 1950 census, which I was
Now, you've got Wilhelmina living. That's my aunt, my mother's sister, on the side there, right beside my father.
Okay, we can edit right now. So she is deceased. Do you remember where she passed away at?
Cleveland. But she was born in Alabama. She passed in Cleveland.
Okay.
That was a favorite aunt, but I won't give you that story. It'll make me cry again.
No more tears. And you don't remember about when she passed away?
No, not for sure.
Okay.
And the reason that she probably is with my mom is because end of life, she was with my mom, but not the dad. They were divorced by then. Yeah.
Okay.
She's deceased.
Okay. All right. So now we're gonna go back to you, who was
Mhm.
born in 1950 and is hiding in the 1950 census records.
I am.
Yes, I'm like, why can't I find you in the 1950 census? But what we want to share for those who are watching, and Ashley, are there any questions? Should I be anybody asking any
I just
questions?
texted Jean to see if she had any questions for us.
Okay,
Anything was coming up.
okay. So we are going to take a look because, so what we have been able to piece together, everyone, is that Patricia was born March 1950. Literally, the census started on April 1st, 1950. That's the first day that an enumerator would come knock on your door to see who lived there.
Mhm.
We are guesstimating that Patricia's mom was in the hospital for about 2 weeks or so, 2.5 weeks. And then by the time she was 3 months, so by June, the family had moved to Ohio. So we think that Patricia may not have been counted because her family was in this process of moving.
But how about Yvonne? Was she counted?
You would have been wherever you and where your dad was.
Oh, for the 50s.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay.
She wouldn't have been at home by herself to open the
No,
door.
no, she would. They didn't count her either. Okay.
We're not going to give up, but what I did
Okay.
find was Patricia's grandmother, Florence, in the 1950 census.
What was she doing?
So Florence at this point is living on that street again, that
Yeah.
West Street. Mhm.
She died in that house.
Oh, did
They
she?
renovated, did a lot of things to it. Yeah, they added on to it, but yeah.
Okay. So we can learn. So it says, is this a house or a ranch? And Florence says no. Is this house on a place of 3 or more acres? She says no. She is now listed as the head of the house. She is 59 years and she is a widow.
Right.
So Tom is no longer with us at this point. She is listed as working, and she is listed as being a practical nurse in a private home. And I do believe, and I have to get
Pretty good money in a year.
more information, but one of these two is her salary.
I see.
So either she made $781 or $826. But if you think about, remember Tom's salary,
Mhm.
It was still more.
she made a little bit more than Tom.
No, his was 960.
No, that was your grandfather, Tom. That Big Daddy only made 400.
We can go. We'll go.
That's
back.
okay.
Yeah,
But
no.
she's still within comparison.
Oh,
of
yeah.
the
Yes.
salary,
Yes, we're on Florence.
1950s.
Mhm.
So who's living with your grandmother? Her daughter Elizabeth, who's
Yeah.
her son William, who's 19.
Mhm. Hadn't made it to Cleveland yet.
Yeah, her son Walter, who's 16.
Yep.
Her son Robert, who is 9. Her
Is she-
granddaughter.
Grandson.
Oh, grandson. So Robert is the grandson.
Robert is a grandson.
Okay.
Should be a barber there too.
Yeah, here's Barbara. Barbara,
Murphy. That's why we call her Sister Murphy.
she was 6 years old.
Yes.
Is Ida a daughter or a granddaughter?
Ida's a daughter.
Okay.
Barbara is actually her daughter.
Barbara is Ida's daughter. So Ida is 26 years old.
Mhm.
So that is all, and we can see that Ida is working as well. Ida is 26 years old. She's doing housework at a private home.
Wow.
Yeah. And we can also see that her son William is working too. William at 19.
Mhm.
He is a night porter. And again, we are seeing that same thing. It says retail, but I still believe it's that same railroad station that we see running through your family line here, like they were all working around in the same industry area.
Right.
Yeah.
So the retail is that's that pharmacy I told you that the Brown family had.
Okay,
So
so
they
that's
did a little part-time, yeah, they all did a little part-time stint there till they got to the railroad, I suppose. Delivering. Yeah.
so that is at least one family that we can identify in the 1950 records
Mhm.
to date. That doesn't mean we're going to give up looking for you and your sister and your parents. It just, there's a little story there.
Yeah.
My-
I think it's amazing that it's so complete because we stayed put as well.
Mhm.
When you move, it's hard to follow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so and that's what happened because you guys moved. So it's like, where were you on April 1st, 1950? Another record that we can check, which Ashley mentioned today, was you might have been counted at the hospital.
Right.
So when they did the census, you may be in that count as opposed to the residential count.
Okay.
At
That
least-
would be different. The hospital count. Okay.
Yeah, so those are records that we can start to look for. To see if we
Okay.
can find you in the hospital records. It wouldn't necessarily include Yvonne and your dad, but at least you and your mom would have been counted if you were in
Okay.
the hospital on April 1st.
All right.
But we know your whole family. where your because this Florence is your grandmother.
Yes.
So so we know where they were when you were born. We know that they were home on April. But the search will continue as we continue to look through the 1950 records and try to figure out where the Brown family went. But the good thing is that we have so much more to learn about the past records. And then so much more because not only do we want to track you in the 1950 census and your parents, but we want to see, like we know that Tommy is gone because we can see from the we can see here from the 1950 that Tommy is gone.
Mhm.
But we want to see if we can find anyone else that might still be here with us from the Dent line or the Ricks line.
Okay.
That's good.
So that is so let me go back.
This has been very good. It's amazing. I mean, I just brought back some really good memories and, you know, the extended family that I grew up in, I'm understanding how important it really was.
Oh yeah, so that's why I want to bring this slide up because I want to put this in context a little bit. Oops. So we can see what else as your family was living through these times. So here's your family in 1930, but you know, President Roosevelt is there a president? The Betty Boop.
Is that when she came about? Boy, she's been around a while.
Long time. Hoover Dam was completed in the 1930s. Jesse Owens from Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, wins the gold medal. So all these things are happening around the world as your mom is 2 and your dad is 4. And then we take a look at the 1940 census. President Roosevelt is still the president.
Okay.
Mom is 10 and your dad is 14.
And Benjamin O. Davis, Sr., yep.
Mount Rushmore is completed. America enters World War II.
Yeah.
And so remember we saw the car with your dad's when he was registering for the war. He was still in high school. I'm sure he wasn't 14, but at some point during World War II, your father said, I need to be a part of this. I want to go and, you know, protect my country, protect my family.
Well, my grandfather was in it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the inspiration, and we can go back and see if we can find your Tom's registration card.
No, William Underwood.
Oh, William, on your maternal line.
He's even got pictures with his uniform on.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. But so you have your.
Who knows where those are, but I just remember seeing pictures with him in his uniform. They were very proud of him.
World War II?
Yes.
Okay. So all of that is happening. So as your father is in high school thinking about going to fight, your grandfather, who was in his 30s,
Trying to do something.
he's like, I gotta do something.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
It
And
is.
then a Polaroid instant camera came about in 1947. So your parents get married, and this is why I want to make sure that people know why it's so important that you confirm the information. Don't just, the oral history is great, but you want to back it up. And so when we look at the marriage between your two parents, that one document, that one moment helped to confirm a lot of details for your family.
Okay.
So we got their ages, we got their dates of birth, we got their specific wedding date, we knew their parents' names for both Frank and Mary Ellen. We knew the home addresses. And so when you start to, one of the records that you guys can look through to find out what your families are doing are directories, city directories. So to know, hey, that was the address, 704 West 2nd Street. In 80 East 20th Street. That was where your, and you said Florence passed away in this house on West 2nd Street.
Yes.
So those are all critically pieces of vital.
We were always adding on and replacing and repairing that house. I think that's why they stayed.
That's okay. That's okay. And then we get to the 1950s, which we couldn't find you, but we at least found Florence. But again, the US had developed the hydrogen bomb. I Love Lucy came out when you were born.
That's why I always grew up with TV. I never known a day without television.
Frozen TV dinners. I was like, oh Lord, somebody should have went back. Like we can go back in time and be like, don't make those. Just don't.
Right, don't make those.
Frozen TV dinners.
But my favorite, Mickey Mouse Club. Come home every day and watch that one.
Well, and then you are the first generation in your family that went to school where school segregation was illegal. So you had the right to go to whatever school that you wanted to go to.
Yeah.
So that was a major change for your family that your parents, your grandparents did not have that. And then of course, they ratified the 22nd Amendment so that Franklin Roosevelt could not be president again, but he had passed away by that point, but
they say 2 terms only.
He'd been president almost, your parents knew only one president for the
right.
Your parents and your grandparents.
Yeah, they only knew one, Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
They had pictures of him like he was a relative.
Right. So this is where our search will continue, and we will continue to look for you and your sister in the 1950 census. We know you're in there, we just don't know where.
Where?
Because
okay.
that little piece of traveling that you guys were doing between
broke everything.
Summer months.
Wow.
And so either you're at the hospital or you're in Cleveland, and we need to find you. And you think that, say the names of the family members that you think you guys live with.
Grace Gardner, or she would have been Grace Brown Gardner.
Grace Brown Gardner. So the search continues, and so we're going to start looking for that name in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. And I'll ask my cousin if she remembers anything else about it.
Anything else? Any address? Like if she has a.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, an address.
They were, that would be helpful. That we can kind of track these folks down. 1950 census, remember again, it just came out tonight at midnight. Last night at midnight. So it's not as easily searchable as the 1940, 30, and other census records. So we got to do a little bit more investigative work.
Yes. When people started to move around, I bet it's going to be really tough to keep up with it. Yeah.
But it's also, I want to stress to you, I love these pictures, and thank you, Ashley, for sharing your family photos. But this is so helpful because there's one picture that I just found. Let me bring up the picture. So it's so helpful when we keep these mementos and these precious, these little precious moments here because we see. So this is you.
Okay, Ash wasn't around yet. That's my oldest, Jason.
This is Jason.
That's Jason. That's my mom.
That is Mary Ellen.
Yeah, Mary Ellen.
And this is
That's Yvonne. And that's Nicholas in her arms.
that's Nicholas. So the next generation continues on
Yeah.
the brown line. We'll get Ashley in there, Stephanie, they're coming.
What about that little picture you and Jay? You didn't put that in there? You don't have that one?
I think so.
Okay.
We're gonna get to Ashley. She'll be part 2.
We'll pick it up.
Yeah, once we find you in the 1950s census, we'll bring it home a little bit closer. But
Okay.
family, you see how your story was just weaved throughout all of our history. And so
Oh, yeah.
so much for coming today and letting me talk about genealogy and how to use the census records.
I thank you so much for using me as one to do it with.
So
It's been very joyful.
So we're gonna, there's a few more details that I want to capture just to make sure we got the information all correct, and then we'll print everything out for you so you have all the census records. And the
Happy
mirror.
birthday.
Thank you.
You can, keep
I'm
on
officially here.
Happy birthday.
your family ancestry record. And I told Ashley too, so once I'm gonna send Ashley the link so she can have that as her, you guys can download it and have that as part of your permanent family record too.
Thank you.
So
Thank
thank
you.
you.
We only had a few questions. I think the biggest question was about that, why census information wasn't available after or during the 1890s. That was the main one. We're going to share a link that explains from the census about how the records were destroyed, but Kacie can go into a little bit more detail.
Yeah, let me go back a little bit because I think a lot of people, it's so important as we talk about record keeping. So they did take the 1890 census. It was done, it was complete, no issues with it. But what happened was in 1921. So think about all those years that this census has survived. And then all of a sudden there's a fire in 1921 and it literally wipes out the records for almost the entire United States. Wow. So they do have some small records that were saved. So depending on where you lived, you might be able to find your family record, but for the most part, the majority of the records were for 1890 were destroyed. So that's why it's important. That's why I'm asking you two if you guys got a Bible or something so we can prove Ethel that line of the family so that we can jump over that 1890 wall. So you guys might have a marriage record or a Bible record that helps us, even an obituary that can help us leap over that.
Yes, I got a lot of cousins. I'm sure someone has to have that complete obituary.
Yeah, somebody knows, so you gotta dig a little bit deeper and make sure that you're sharing the information, and because it's just so critically important. And as you were saying, you almost can name the slave, a member of your family who was enslaved.
Yes.
So I was just, so they're talking about reparations. And so it's like, one of the things that they're saying is, if you are a Black person and you want to receive reparations, you may have to prove that you were actually descended from an enslaved person.
Oh, yeah.
How do you do that when they didn't name the slaves all the time? But your family might have some records here that, hey, you can actually prove, hey, this person was enslaved, they were on this plantation. Here's the records that we have.
Yeah, I'm sure if we go back to the Ricks plantation, they'll find him there.
Well, then I said,
he kept the name Ricks.
And if we start to go with the DNA route, some of us might be able to easily prove.
Well, if we go the Brown route, we definitely can prove it.
Was there any other questions, Ashley? Was that it?
That was it. I want to thank everybody for joining us.
Yeah.
Today was
Yeah.
really good. Thank you, Casey.
Thank you so much, Kacie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just guys, did Jean put any information on the website for the 1950 census, how people can access it?
I know we shared it on social media, just explaining
Okay.
that it was released today.
I'm sure it's posted so you guys can get to it because it's not in Ancestry yet. I should say that. You have to go to the National Archives to see the 1950 records still.
Yeah.
Remember, they just came out at midnight, so everybody's racing to get the information uploaded to the site. So it's coming.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
And
so
you too.
much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.